Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. Today we are back with the following list of topics to discuss. So let's start. The first topic says about the rioters in Brasilia. So recently we have seen on January 8, 2023, thousands of supporters of Brazil's ousted former president Jair Bolsonaro ransacked Brazil's Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential offices in a full-blown riot to protest what they alleged was a stolen election. So more than 1,200 protesters were detained following the riots. Okay, and thereby we could see that if you go to some of the background, we have seen that on October 30, 2022, Lula da Silva, who served as the president from 2003 to 2011, beat Bolsonaro in a runoff vote. Following this, rioting supporters began gathering outside military bases across Brazil, calling for military intervention to prevent the newly elected President Lula from returning to office on January 1. For months, people staged protests demanding the same, and many Bolsonaro supporters in Brazil were convinced that October's elections was rigged. So Bolsonaro had challenged the results of the Brazilian elections, arguing votes from some machines should be invalidated in a complaint that elections authorities refurbed. So for years, Bolsonaro has alleged that Brazil's election systems were rife with fraud and that the nation elites were conspiring to remove him from power. So recently, in December 12, Lula's election victory was certified by the Federal Electoral Court, and later that day, after the arrest of the pro-Bolsonaro indigenous leaders for alleged anti-democratic acts, Bolsonaro supporters tried to invade the federal police headquarters in Brasilia. So a few days later, on December 24, a man named George Washington D. Oliveira Sousa was arrested for attempting to set up a bomb in protest against Brazil's election result. So a copy of his police statement showed that he was inspired to build up an arsenal by Bolsonaro's traditional support of arming the civilians. Okay, so therefore today on January 1, 2023, Lula was sworn in as a president for the third time, and Bolsonaro supporters were convinced that the elections were stolen from them, and this leads to some of the reactions coming in from the respective side of the people. तो आज यहाँ पे देख सकते हो कि इसमें कितना बड़ा एक टेंशन सा माहौल बन गया है, and even our Prime Minister Modi reacted that he is worried about Brazil because Brazil is basically an important partner of India in the BRICS and also in the G20. तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे जो ये क्लैशेस चल रहा है, तो therefore it is directly making a concern because we know Brazil being a democratic country and we haven't seen such number of incidents in the recent past in this country of Brazil. ओके तो उसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे हम लोग का ये न्यूज इन ट्रांजिशन है, तो देखते हैं हम लोग इन फ्यूचर क्या देखने को मिलता है. नेक्स्ट, young professional scheme. So recently we could see that the governments of the India and the UK marked Pravasi Bharatiya Divas on January 29 by launching the young professional schemes, which allows up to 3,000 degree holding citizens aged between 18 to 30 to live and work in each other's countries for a period of 2 years. And the scheme, which was announced in November at the G20 summit in Bali, is a part of the India-UK Migration and Mobility Memorandum of Understanding signed in May 2021. So according to the High Commissioner Bikram Doraiswamy, the young professional scheme will be hopefully be up and running in March, although he noted that there is still some process that needs to be completed before March that can launch the program soon. So successful candidates will be able to search for job, educational, as well as cultural opportunities in their host countries, and the schemes allows for exchange of visas up to 3,000 individuals per year. Okay, so the young professional schemes offers a unique opportunity for young Indians and even the Britons to gain international experience and expand their cultural horizons. So it also has the potential to strengthen ties between the two countries by fostering cultural exchanges and building network of professionals. So today even we could see that the India and the UK ongoing trade negotiations is directly on the bottlenecks. So if such number of schemes comes into prominence, then obviously in the coming future, we could see some number of trade negotiations getting happen in these respective two countries at a very earlier stage of time. तो इसी बेसिस पे यहाँ पे ये यंग प्रोफेशनल स्कीम्स थे, क्योंकि जनवरी 9 को हम लोग प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस सेलिब्रेट कर रहे थे, एंड देयरफॉर द टू गवर्नमेंट्स लॉन्च दिस रिस्पेक्टिव स्कीम. ओके, नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं. द डिले इन डेसिनियल सेंसस. So we have seen that today the decennial census, which is carried out by lakhs of enumerators empaneled and trained by government in two phases. So first phase is the housing phase, where data on housing conditions, household amenities, and assets possessed by households are collected. And in the second place, data on population, education, religion, economic activity, schedule, caste, and tribes, etc., are collected. So we have seen that in the recent times, this has directly delayed. So, what are the implications of the delaying census? So, census data is crucial for various administrative functions, welfare schemes, and other surveys. So, the implications of the delaying census are, we have seen that firstly, the outdated census information available from the last census in 2011 often becomes very much unreliable and affects those who does not and receive the benefits of welfare scheme. For instance, if I say that as per National Food Security Act of 2013, 67% of the country's population is entitled to receive subsidized food grains from the government. Over the last decade means that if 67% ratio is applied to 2020's projected population to 137 crore, PDS coverage should have increased to around 92 crore people. Also, secondly, census data are critical for other sample surveys, be it if I say about the National Family Health Survey. Okay, also we could see that it is crucial to determine the population of migrants and migration patterns. तो आज ये जो डिले हो रहा है, इस डिले के वजह से हम लोग को बहुत सारा यहाँ पे दुविधा हो रहा है. So that today we are not directly performing well in sectors which we need to perform and which needs some of the rapid changes in the coming times. तो उसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे बताया गया कि हाउ this delay in the decennial census has impacted the administrative functions, the welfare schemes, and various other databases through which we directly administer our respective country. Okay, next पे आते हैं. Increase in human-animal conflict in Wayanad. So, in the latest information came up with wild elephants attacks in Kerala, a daily worker was attacked by a rogue elephant at Sultan Batheri town adjacent to the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. And this has caught the attention of the increasing instances of the human-wildlife conflict, especially near forest. So today we could see that in India, the data from the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change indicates that over 500 elephants were killed between 14 and 15 and 2018 and 19, mostly due to human-animal conflict. And during the same period, 2361 people were killed as a result of conflict with the elephants. So what drives this human-wildlife conflict? So see, this results from a variety of ecological and anthropogenic drivers that exerts pressures on landscapes where humans and wildlife share space. So these ecological drivers include seasonal changes, natural calamities in animals' life cycles, as well as movement patterns of animals. Also, the habitat loss, changes in land use, livestock management. इसी के वजह से हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि हम लोग धीरे धीरे करके वाइल्ड लाइफ की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं. So each negative impacts emerges from a complex webs of interaction between drivers, making it extremely difficult and if not possible to view the effect of one driver in isolation. So today we have to understand the conflict. We have to mitigate it. We have to respond through better means, and we have to prevent such number of human wildlife conflict. So we need to come up with a policy, and to monitor such policies, we need to have some of the dedicated plans so that we could reduce the human animal conflict in a greater scenario. Okay, so therefore, by adequating some of the adequate resources and forming wide-ranging partnerships, we can move towards long-term coexistence that benefits both people and wildlife. तो इसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे वाइल्ड एनिमल कन्फ्लिक्ट का जो हम लोग का रोल है, ये ज्यादा हो रहा है आजकल के हमारे स्टेट्स में. इवन असम को ही देख लो, कितने सारे होते रहते हैं. तो इसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे ये न्यूज थी. ओके, नेक्स्ट आते हैं एडिटोरियल में. डिफिकल्टी इन डिटरमाइनिंग एज. तो यहाँ पे बोला गया है अबाउट द वेरियस प्रॉब्लम्स दैट द गवर्नमेंट फेसेस और द जुडिशियरी फेसेस व्हेन डिटरमाइंस द एज ऑफ कल्प्रिट्स हु हैव बेसिकली रेप्ड सम ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल्स, क्योंकि ये जुवेनाइल बोल के बच जाते हैं. So we could see that even recently the Lok Sabha passed the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Bill Amendment of 2021 that seeks to strengthen and streamline the provisions for protection and adoption of children. So यहाँ पे हम लोग के जितने भी की amendments है which जहाँ पे इस बिल में propose किया गया था. So serious offences which will include offences for which maximum punishment is imprisonment of more than 7 years and minimum punishment is not prescribed or is less than 7 years. तो वहां पे इम्प्रिजनमेंट बिटवीन 3 to 7 years को हम लोग यहाँ पे डील करेंगे। जुवेनाइल्स जैसे लोग 16+ हो जाते हैं तो उनको हम लोग इसी के बेसिस पे हम लोग रिकॉग्नाइज कर लेंगे। देन टुडे therefore the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of 2015, it says about that we need to take important provisions so as to adopt some of the features with respective to the Central Adoption Resource Authority. तो यहाँ पे यही सब बोला गया है कि how we could see that in November 2022, over 4 years after the gang rape and murder of an 8-year-old girl in Kathua, the Supreme Court held that one of the accused persons who claimed to be a juvenile at the time of commission of the offense be tried as an adult. तो आज यहाँ पे बहुत सारे कंफ्यूजन है और भी बहुत सारे केसेस है जहाँ पे बोला जाता है कि कैसे एक जुवेनाइल को हम लोग एज के हिसाब से बता सकते हैं। तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे एक नए नए टेक्निक्स हम लोग ने निकाले हैं क्योंकि द मोस्ट पॉपुलर टेस्ट फॉर डिटरमिनिंग एज इज द ऑसिफिकेशन टेस्ट। Okay, so this ossification test is a very important test that we can see with respective to the treating the juveniles. So it is an age determination test of a person on the basis of assessment of his or her bony framework. Okay, and this test enables one to form a fairly accurate opinion about the age of an individual, especially in the early years. Also, we could see about the Supreme Court's ruling referred to the technique of wisdom teeth. ओके तो ये एक बेटर 18+ में विजडम टेस्ट निकलता है हम लोग का। तो ये बेसिकली एक 2-3 प्रोसेस निकाले हैं, ठीक है, कि कैसे हम लोग इन सब को डिटरमाइन कर सके एज में, क्योंकि लोग बहुत सारे जाली सर्टिफिकेट्स के नाम से ये लोग डायरेक्टली क्या करते हैं, कम एज करके रख देते हैं। तो उसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला है कि वी नीड्स टू फॉलो सम ऑफ द अप्रोप्रिएट टेक्नोलॉजीज सो दैट वी कुड मेक एंड डिटरमाइन और कुड असेस द रेस्पेक्टिव एज ऑफ अ रेस्पेक्टिव पर्सन हु इज इन्वॉल्व्ड इन सच नंबर ऑफ हेनियस क्राइम्स। ओके, सो उसी के डिफिकल्टीज के बारे में यहाँ पे टोटली डिस्कस किया गया है। ओके, सो यहाँ पे वही एडिटोरियल था। सो we have this 5 narrow MCQs. Please do attempt these MCQs and do join our WhatsApp and Telegram channel for further updates. Also, do join us regularly at 8:45 p.m. to boost up your preparation for APSC prelims. So that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.